Hey guys, I'm back for a review. I'm back to talk about Jess Franco, and I think I'm going to do these in and around on Fridays because I like the catchy title, Franco Fridays. So I'm probably going to do these and release them on Fridays. Um, the next film that I'm looking at is the Diabolical Doctor Z, which is a Mondo Macabro release. Now, interestingly enough, there's not a whole lot on this film um, in terms of the depth of review and analysis. In fact, I didn't see anything on YouTube about Diabolical Doctor Z, and a lot of the review websites and Franco forums really didn't spend a lot of time on this title. But the irony is, this is probably the best black and white horror film that Franco did, in my opinion, and in Stephen Thrower's opinion, apparently. Because I was just reading the section on the book about Murderous Passions book and talking about this film. This is one of his best efforts, and it's his second horror film, right after the Olaf film. I would say it's a loose sequel because there is a reference by Dr. Zimmer, Dr. Z, here in the picture, uh, who looks a lot like the mad scientist in Dr. Strangelove. But there's a reference to the experiments of Dr. Orloff. But that's really the extent of the connection between this film and the awful Dr. Orloff. This film was released in 1966, and it, as is many Franco films, is steeped in uh, mystery and multi-versions. There's apparently four different versions of this film, with the French version running about 88 minutes. Um, yeah, that's happened a lot with his films. The alternate title was, and I think a better title is Miss Morta, or Miss Death. The film centers around, not so much, you would think from the cover art that this is about a mad doctor 50s sci-fi film. It's not. Dr. Zimmer is in maybe the first 10 minutes, and he basically sets the stage for his daughter to take over the film, Irma, played by Mabel Carr. Yeah. Uh, Essentially, Dr. Orloff has figured out a way to control, through the brain and the spinal cord, your evil and good impulses. And he in theory, can turn off the bad impulses of a killer, and switch those to good impulses. So the film starts out with a killer that he captures, uh, and does an operation so they basically can control this individual. Essentially, what it is instead of using it for good to eliminate the evil traits of people, they use it to control. At any rate, Dr. Zimmer dies abruptly after presenting his findings to a panel of doctors who ridicule him. His evil daughter, malevolent daughter, Irma, decides, well, I'm going to get even and kill the doctors that ridiculed my father by using his tool, his Z machine, to control others and have them do her evil bidding. That's the story. It's basically a revenge story, which has been done a million times, right? But in this case, it's not so much the vanilla of the it's not so much the mediocrity of the material. I mean, it's pretty pedestrian stuff. Revenge films are a dime a dozen. It's really how the cinematography of the film, the direction of the film, the gothic settings of the film, and the music that stand this film apart from many other just straight-laced revenge films. And I think it is one of Jess Franco's finest films, and maybe his best film, maybe his best black and white film of the 60s. There's just a number of iconic scenes in this, and they work because he couples the music, which his love for jazz fusion, eccentric type music, end of the proceedings, and it works beautifully. There's a scene with Howard Vernon, who's in a lot of these films. He's got the hawkish face. He plays one of the doctors that ridiculed Dr. Zimmer. He gets killed by Miss Death on a train, and just before that occurred, his first introduction to Miss Death, you hear this strange harpsichord ensemble music. It works great. It really does. And then probably the standout scene is Miss Death, who's a dancer, is captured by Irma and her helper, the killer that they've changed from evil to kind of a zombie. She's kind of captured and stalked on this stage that she's a dancer. And there's this great jazz fusion. It sounds like a Miles Davis kind of jazz fusion score that kind of brings the scene to a crescendo. So yeah, it's great stuff. If I had a complaint about Dr. Z, I would say that the hero in this film, a guy named Whitehouse, I believe that's his name, Philip Brighthouse. I mean, the reality is, it's too convenient the way they set it up. I guess it's a script issue, but basically, Brighthouse knows Irma, knows Dr. Z. He's a neurologist, and he just happens to be dating Miss Death, Myrta. That's too convenient. It just doesn't. I just thought that was a little bit too much. But this is a great film, Jess Franco film, 8 out of 10. Highly recommend it. Now this release has a 15-minute look at Franco's career. It's a documentary on Franco, basically. You've also got an alternative credit sequence, a theatrical trailer, studio clips, audio clips. Then you've got a still gallery and production notes, which are the production notes and bios were very good on the 4 actors that they talked about, including they did Franco, Howard Vernon, Estelle, who played Estelle Blaine, who played Nadia, who later killed herself apparently, and then Irma, Mabel Carr, yeah. So yeah, I would highly recommend this release, and you know, it doesn't appear to have gotten the attention it deserves. It's a great film. So, all right, well, that will do it for Jess Franco Friday, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.